Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Mark Martin. More cyber chaos could be taking place around the globe this Monday. A cyber attack is wreaking computer havoc in 150 countries, affecting everything from hospitals to businesses. Heather Sells has the story.
It's an escalating threat with more than 200,000 victims around the world, and many of those victims are corporations.
This is an unprecedented scale. We've never seen something spread this quickly in a 24-hour period across these many different countries and continents.
The malware virus is known as WannaCry. It starts with a simple email.
So a user will receive an email, and that email will have a document attached to it, and the email will be what's called socially engineered. So it will name the person, it will give an impression that there is a really good reason why they should open that document. It's an invoice that they haven't paid. It's a lottery that they've won.
The virus has attacked companies like FedEx in the U.S. In China, close to 30,000 institutions have been affected. In the U.K., hospitals have been forced to delay surgeries and turn away patients.
I think it's a heinous crime, this hacking, because they're putting people's lives at risk.
We're aware that a number of NHS organisations have reported that they have suffered from a ransomware attack.
Experts say there's no political agenda behind the attacks. It's just old-fashioned blackmail. The virus assailants issue a ransom note to those crippled by their attack, pay $300 in the digital currency known as Bitcoin. Then hours later, they ask for $600, and then the message threatens to destroy files.
It may take us weeks or months, or we may never even find out who's behind this.
The virus is attacking a loophole in the widely used Microsoft Windows operating system that runs computers. But Microsoft is pointing the finger at U.S. intelligence, saying it has stockpiled software code that hackers can use and kept it secret, making it harder to update the software to protect it from attacks. The president has reportedly called for an emergency meeting today to assess the threat after issuing an executive order just last week on cybersecurity that has been praised in Congress. But there's a long way to go, as this latest cyber attack is believed to be the biggest online extortion attempt ever recorded. Heather Sells, CBN News.
In other news, North Korea launched another missile this weekend that can reportedly carry a heavy nuclear warhead. It is considered a medium long-range missile. Officials say it landed 60 miles from the coast of eastern Russia. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has promised more nuclear missile tests and warned that the strikes could reach the U.S. mainland and the Pacific. After firing FBI Director James Comey, President Trump is looking for a new FBI director, and lawmakers are urging him to avoid picking a politician for the job. The advice comes during the FBI probe of Russia's meddling with last year's election and any ties to the Trump campaign. It also comes after Trump's tweet last Friday regarding tapes of his and Comey's conversations. Lindsey Graham told Meet the Press this weekend that it's time to clear the air about whether the tapes exist.
The president needs to back off here and let the investigation go forward. We need to call Comey and get to the bottom of all of this. And I think it's time for an FBI agent to lead the FBI.
The White House has not denied or confirmed the existence of any tapes. President Donald Trump's revised travel ban goes before a federal appeals court for the second time in a week. This time, government lawyers will try to convince a three-judge panel of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals to reinstate the ban. The travel ban would suspend the country's refugee program and temporarily put a stop on new visas for citizens of Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. Atlanta's megachurch pastor Michael Youssef is warning dangerous Islamists really do mean to conquer the West in the years ahead. He's getting listened to in high places. In fact, he was just coming out of a high-level meeting at the White House when he met up with our senior Washington correspondent, Paul Strand.
We're talking to Dr. Michael Youssef, who's written the book, The Barbarians Are Here. It's all about the dangers we face from Islamic radicalism, not just terrorism, but so much more. And Dr. Youssef, why can't these people be just sweet-talked or reasoned out of this? They think this goes back centuries, right? And this is much more than just a war to them.
Exactly. This is a way of life. This is something started way in the 7th century. I mean, and basically want to dominate the world. How can you sweet-talk people who want to dominate the world? Imagine like Neville Chamberlain tried to sweet-talk Hitler. And he thought, come with a piece of paper. I said, yeah, no, these people do not understand negotiation. They will only negotiate if they're in a weak position, and that's something in their doctrine. If they are in a weak position, until they get the upper hand, they can agree with you, they can have an agreement, but it's not binding on them. They will literally tear it up as soon as they take the upper hand.
And for these folks, this isn't a secular thing, right? This is more like the Quran orders them to do this. Am I correct about that? Are there surahs that actually say they must do this and they must kill us, those kind of things?
Absolutely, but it's all in interpretation. There are some modern Muslims today who are reinterpreting these things, and they're saying, no, these were relevant only, those passages are relevant only for the 1st century Islam, that is our 7th century. Many of them are secular thinking and Western educated people really pushing for that. But these so-called fundamentalists, or those who really believe the very core of Islamic teaching, they say, no, the successors of the Prophet went and conquered the world for him, and we are just continuing their mission 1400 years later. We are completing the mission, because if you remember, they came all the way to the doors of France, and Charles Martel basically pushed them out. So they've been trying ever since. Later on, the Turks tried to come all the way to Austria, at the doors of Austria. Now they said this is the third jihad, which they think they're going to basically do and accomplish by two things: petrodollar, and there are trillions of dollars invested in Europe particularly, and birth rate. I'll give you an example. France has 5 million Muslims. They're producing, on the average, 6 children each family. The French birth rate is below 0. So you do the math, and they say that in their literature. It's not something I'm making up. In their own literature, say you do the math, and it's a matter of time before we're going to take over.
One of the most interesting aspects of your book is that are the Western leaders, the elites and all, how they can't actually see this because they're not spiritually minded. Could you talk a little bit about that, why they can't actually see what's happening here?
Absolutely. It's their eyes are blinded. And whether they're blinded through naivete or political correctness, or they think that, you know, basically we can reason with them, we can negotiate with them, you cannot do that, because they are on a mission. And that mission is not even given to them by a man. It's a mission that's given them by God. And you got to go out and you either convert the infidels or you kill them. And that's really something that our secular elite, whether it be in the media, whether they are in the government, and whether they are in academia, they are so spiritually blind to understand that this is a spiritual war. And because they see it from a spiritual perspective, and we're seeing it from a secular perspective, we're trying to use secular weapons to fight a spiritual war, and it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Well, Dr. Youssef, I thank you so much for your time. We've been talking to Dr. Michael Youssef, who's just authored The Barbarians Are Here.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you.
The Trump administration is expanding its global pro-life Mexico City policy. In an exclusive CBN News interview, a White House official says the administration will announce a new policy called Protecting Life and Global Health Assistance. And this will allocate an additional $8.8 billion for global health assistance. In essence, President Trump is taking the pro-life policy to a whole different level. The policy forbids federal funds for organizations that provide or counsel abortion overseas. To learn more about the policy and what it means, log on to cbnnews.com/The Brody File. Coming up, 1 in 3 adults in the U.S. has a tough time finding work because of a criminal record. Stay tuned to see how one employer is changing that trend through coffee. Welcome back. Believe it or not, 1 in 3 adults cannot get a job in the U.S. because they have a criminal record. And even when they do get work, it rarely matches their skills and interests. As Heather Sells shows us, statistics like that drove a Chicago software engineer to start I Have a Bean, a coffee roasting company to hire former felons.
Pete Leonard first developed a love for fresh roasted coffee during a missions trip to Brazil. After returning home, he made his own roaster in his Weber grill. Around the same time, he noticed a relative out of prison and unable to find work.
And I watched what happened to him from getting out of the prison system and then trying to get back into normal society, and it was virtually impossible.
And Leonard's loved one isn't the only one facing this uphill battle. More than 70 million Americans have a criminal background, and Dr. Karen Swanson, who leads the Institute of Prison Ministries at Wheaton College, finds most employers simply don't want to hire them.
If they check the box that asks if they have a felony record or criminal record, then many employers just throw the application out.
Pete Leonard's solution: take advantage of America's love for coffee by creating a coffee roasting company and hire former felons to run it.
We choose coffee rated in the top 1% from a quality standpoint, and we employ people who have a felony conviction on their record to do all of the work.
It's a match made in coffee heaven. U.S. prisons release more than 500,000 people each year, and at the same time, Americans are drinking 400 million cups of coffee a day, driving specialty sales up 20%. One of Leonard's early hires, Louis Dooley, left prison after serving time for armed robbery and attempted murder.
It was scary, it was difficult, and I just wanted to go back in because I didn't know how to cope. I didn't know how to live out here. I couldn't find a job. That was the biggest thing.
Louis became a believer and worked hard to turn his life around while behind bars. Still, no employer would take a chance.
Once I explained the nature of my offense, they were just like, we can't hire you. So I understood. I probably wouldn't hire someone like me either. No work experience, 35 years old. I got robberies, attempted murder. In my background, I'm not the ideal or model employee that you want to have.
Amy ran into similar dead ends. In addition to a banking resume, her paperwork included a white-collar crime conviction. Neither applicant could get past a small box. It's on most applications and must be checked for a criminal record or conviction.
Companies say that they hire, people with records, etc. But no, it's been filled. You just don't even get an interview. You don't even get in the door.
But at I Have a Bean, both Amy and Louis got in the door.
We all make mistakes. Some of us go to prison for them. Others of us should have gone to prison, didn't. And others just skate by. The fact is, it really puts us all in the category of sinners. So we're not concerned with what you did then. What we're concerned with is, who are you today?
Not every hire is out of prison, but in the past 9 years, Leonard has hired 35 people with a background. And today, all but 2 are the success stories he believed could happen. This positive result is no accident. Leonard carefully vets each employee. He finds out if they've worked to rebuild their lives while behind bars and whether they've stuck to that path after leaving. He's also a stickler for quality.
I want our employees to be understanding that the reason we're able to pay them a salary is because they produce great product, not because we've guilted somebody in the public to donating money to us because we have a great mission.
Leonard is more than a boss, he's a witness, watching his employees transform from down and out to confident and marketable. Today, Louis oversees a ministry for inmates, and Amy manages the front office for I Have a Bean. Dr. Swanson believes this concept could become a game changer for millions who need a second chance.
This is a great opportunity for the church and the Christian community to help formerly incarcerated people to become entrepreneurs or to hire them.
That experience can lead not just to increased marketability, but to a shot at restoration and a new productive life. Reporting in Wheaton, Illinois, Heather Sells, CBN News.
Up next, a look back at Israel 50 years ago on the eve of the Six-Day War. In the spring of 1967, Israel was facing threats of invasion from every direction, and Western allies turned their backs on the Jewish state. In Israel's darkest hour, a voice of calm was heard over the airwaves. John Wagi brings us that story from Jerusalem.
By the end of May 1967, the die was cast. Israel would soon be at war on all borders. Prime Minister Levi Eshkol tried to reassure the nation, but he was ill and faltered during his address. Military General Chaim Herzog stepped in to fill the gap with radio commentary in Hebrew and English.
A new page has been opened in the history of our people's battles and of the courage of Israel. And deep in the heart of each and every one of us at this moment, when we think of those engaged in the struggle, there is, irrespective of whether we normally pray or not, a prayer that the guardian of Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
During the Six-Day War, Chaim Herzog didn't just calm the nation. He became Israel's first military ruler over Judea and Samaria in more than 2,000 years. He was also a powerful presence as UN ambassador and later as president of Israel. Chaim Herzog died in 1997, but his legacy lives on. His son Isaac is now chairman of Israel's leading opposition party, the Zionist Union. He was only 7 when the war broke out. Still, he remembers the prevailing fear.
What we know is that there was a period of awaiting about 3 weeks before the war, where the national mood was Auschwitz. Israel is going to its second Holocaust. Whoever leaves last should turn off the light and leave the country. That was the mood.
Isaac's older brother, Michael, now a retired major general, was 15 at the time. He says there's no doubt Israelis were concerned about the nation's survival.
So I still remember ourselves, like many other people in Israel, digging a trench in our backyard because we expected that we would be shelled, and we were shelled. Tel Aviv was shelled by the Jordanians during the Six-Day War.
Young people who have abandoned the cafes of Dizengoff Street and the discotheque, the farm boys, the yeshiva students, the members of the youth movements, the boys of the immigrant townships, all are at this moment shoulder to shoulder fighting in the air, on the land, and on the sea for our right simply to live.
You know what's interesting is we hear a lot today about the term fake news and that kind of thing. 67 was a banner year for fake news, especially in Egypt and in Syria, and your father was kind of counteracting that to a people that didn't know really what was happening. They had to hear the truth.
We would hear what was called Kol Kahir, voice of Cairo, and they would speak in Hebrew, and they would say the worst things. We're going to throw you to the sea. I guess you heard it.
They said terrible things, and there was anxiety, but he provided very professional analysis. First of all, he knew the situation.
I am broadcasting from Jerusalem to the sound of heavy shelling. A strange form of quiet and anticipation has fallen along the front line, a quiet that may foretell great tidings.
He would broadcast 3 times a day. He would also broadcast in English, so there were both BBC and others, but the 3 times a day you would walk in the streets of Tel Aviv and you would hear his voice throughout the city, people just listening, stopping and listening. And it was awesome. I heard his voice in the trench. I heard my dad, my mom brought a little radio, and we would hear him in the trench, and he calmed us down.
I was told by soldiers then in the front lines, and they would listen to him, and I was told by quite a few of them that this really boosted their morale before going into battle.
Just 1 day into the war, Israel's Air Force virtually destroyed the capacity of Egypt, Syria, and Jordan to strike from the air. On the ground, Israel's army penetrated deep into the Sinai and pushed toward Jordan on the West Bank. By day 3, Chaim Herzog could tell the nation the unthinkable. After 2 millennia, Jerusalem was back in Jewish hands.
The miracle of our generation continues, as does the brilliant campaign, the like of which there is no record of in the history of Israel, and perhaps in the history of the nations, and which has achieved today what millions of Jews throughout the generations have prayed for.
We live in a very different era than 1967, but in my mind, what our father The impact his broadcast had on national morale is reminiscent of the impact that Churchill's broadcast had on British morale during World War II, and that was very significant.
And indeed, the saying goes, Jerusalem is a gift of the whole land of Israel. On the altar of the Temple Mount and Mount Moriah, the people of Israel offered up today priceless sacrifices which swell the toll of sacrifice by earlier generations. Our victory was not lightly achieved, and at this moment it is well that we remember those who offered up their lives for the glory of the Almighty and the nation.
Today, both Herzogs are strong supporters of a two-state solution between Israel and the Palestinians, despite growing skepticism about the peace process among many Israelis. The hope is that 2017 can be a year of breakthrough.
There is a golden opportunity in the region whereby you just need to stretch your hand, and under American support, especially I believe from the White House, there could be a sea change in the region, Israel being recognized by all its neighbors, and we need to sit down and get to the difficult moment of trying to make peace. This is what we owe to the casualties who fell in the war, who were so brave in very difficult battles, and to the fact that we want the Jewish nation to live in peace and strength in the region, whilst celebrating that great victory.
John Waggy, CBN News, Jerusalem.
CBN has produced a documentary about the Six-Day War. It's called In Our Hands, The Battle for Jerusalem. The film heads to theaters May 23rd for a one-day Fathom event. And to learn more, log on to cbnnews.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Operation Blessing is bringing much-needed medical care to remote communities in Liberia. Families there are at high risk of illness and disease. Children and their families are growing sick from poor hygiene and disease-carrying mosquitoes, with the closest hospitals being miles away. But thanks to Operation Blessing, community health workers are being trained to detect and treat illnesses, and they're writing referrals to encourage community members to go to the hospital sooner. Now fewer people are sick, and they're benefiting from having community workers just a few feet away. That's wonderful. Well, that's it for now on CBN NewsWatch. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day.